Welcome back to another edition of Yorkshire Kris Weekly Exotic Gardening. Lots have happened since my last proper edition of the series, so that was back in May, June time, so everything's been planted out. We've done a garden tour, lots of growth, we've had lots and lots of heat, lots of water, and it's been fantastic conditions for many plants to do really well. Some plants have done less well, but things like this banana here, they've grown absolutely fantastically. And so have all the bedding plants around the garden now, especially in the last few weeks where the heat's been warm at night as well in the daytime. So my children took over the last edition of my videos, so this is mainly back to me. We've got lots coming up in this edition. We're going to be looking at cutting back the bamboos, cutting back the borders. Things have grown a little too well. We're also going to be getting cuttings from Begonia luxurians, and we're going to be clearing away many plants, including things that I didn't plant, to make room for other fantastic exotic plants. Well, this summer we've had the Phyllostaceous bamboos put up lots and lots of new culms, including this pretty wonderful Phyllostaceous parvifolia, and these are getting thicker each year. And what I want to do is reveal the actual culms at the lower part of the plant and leave the foliage at the top, so you can see through the plant and sort of admire the actual canes on these. And you notice once the shoots have gone up, you get these side shoots, which are basically where the leaves are going to come out, and they go all the way from the ground all the way to the top of the plant. And I want to reveal these culms. And to do that, when it's quite fresh, as in the first few months after shooting, you can just simply get your hand and just pull down, and that snaps off nice and easily. So then we can go all the way around the plant for the bottom half, maybe up to 2/3 height, and snap off all the side shoots or where the leaves are going to come out. And that will reveal the nice culms. The difference between a culm and a cane is basically it's the same thing. The culm is when it's growing, and when you chop it down it then becomes a cane, but it doesn't really matter what you call it, I suppose. So I'm going to carry on doing this, and then on the older growth which we have next to it, which I did the same last year, there's regrowth on many of the points where I pulled off the leaves last year, so I'm going to use some secateurs and snip all those off because they're far more rigid and harder to snap. I'm going to go through the bamboo and make it far more open than it currently is. Now here is a plant failure. This was a Washingtonia robusta palm, but as you can see it's totally dead with no leaves whatsoever. And this is being caused not just by the cold winters or wet in winter, but also by the fact that in summer it's been shaded out by the grasses and the cannas as well, so it's never really had enough sun in the last few years since planted out. I did grow it for many years in a large plastic tub, and I got it to the biggest size possible that I could manage. It was about, I think it was 90 centimetres across the pot, and then I had to plant it out, and the only area I could plant it out was this area because the pot was so big I needed to do a huge hole for it, and this was the only area I could do that. But unfortunately, for the cold winters, or just winters in general, because it's not a hardy palm is the Washingtonia, and the fact that it's been shaded has meant it's never really got going outside in the planted position. Fine in the pot against a sunny wall where it had the heat and the sun, but outside here it's not thrived at all, and as you can see it's died. So this is a palm that I will dig up, and it will allow me more plants to be grown in this pretty much shaded area as it gets to summer. For spring and winter it's full sunlight because none of these plants around it are in leaf, but in summer it's very shady, so I'll have to find a plant that will suit these position. Now these colocasia pink chinas have grown amazingly well over the last few weeks with all the heat and water that I've given them. So well in fact that they've actually come well over the paths. And I'm going to have to cut these back quite a lot because I need these paths accessible for my open day. There'll be quite a lot of people trying to get up and down these paths, which at the narrowest point, which is where I am now, they're only 60 centimetres across or 2 foot, so I do need to clear the way. And it's not just the colocasias that I've got here, there's also the Persicaria red dragon that's come right over the path as well. So I'm just going to go along and just cut these back. And I know it looks a bit savage, but I do need to make sure that people can get through. So I'm just using my secateurs and snipping them back. They'll grow new leaves, it's not a big issue. And some of these, to be honest, I might need to dig up and move to other areas of the garden because there's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of plants around the garden, and especially in these beds here. So I'm just going to carry on cutting these back, and I can see that a few of these are starting to flower as well. Now as you can see, I've cut back all the colocasias and stelias and also quite a lot of the ends of the jabea leaves that were overhanging the path as well. I have got a bit of an issue, and that's with this absolutely amazing Trachycarpus ulcrahensis or manipur with these stunning blue-white leaves, pretty much as good as princeps, and the leaves though cover the path completely. So I might need to remove a couple of these, but it does mean really the palm needs moving. It is in the wrong place because it's coming out at such an angle now, it's going over the path. So if I go forward, you can see, and turn around, you can see how the leaves completely cover the path there and round here. So I might have to take just a couple off and just make sure it grows up in this direction, or at least try to make it do so. So I'll get a bit more cutting back to do, and also I'm going to have to cut back all these lovely huge colocasia pink china leaves as well, just to make sure that people can get through this path. I'll also cut back some bamboo and some Chemerops leaves as well, because growth is amazing this time of year. You look back in spring and there's not much growth, and then in summer everything grows so well and it covers all your paths and borders and fill up all the space between plants. So plenty more cutting back to be done. Now you can see the path completely cleared. There's a good way through here. I had to cut a few leaves of this Ukrahensis palm. Now I can get through pretty easily. Just need to pick up all the rubbish. And then if we look up, we can also see what the bamboo looks like now. You can look straight through the Phyllostaches parvifolia. Lots of new fresh green culms. These are nice and thick now as well. But it's great to be able to see right through this clump of bamboo. It's got a lot of old leaves and culms to dispose of. So very happy with the look I've created by taking off the bottom half to 2/3 of leaves. And if we look back, we can see how tall the new culms are, way up there. So plenty of new leaves to support the growth for this year and next year. Well, last year my children planted some sweet peas, so not a tropical plant at all, but they do give an absolutely wonderful display early on in the year, in June and July, and the smell of these are absolutely gorgeous. And everybody that came to the garden earlier really loved them, but they don't really fit in with tropical theme, and they're finished flowering now. So I'm just going to pull all these up, and they've covered quite a large area. And these is going to give me a new area to plant. So I'll have some more plants to add to this area, but before I do that, I'm just going to have a look want to clear this, what space I've actually got to work with before I decide what to plant here. And now that the sweet peas have gone, I've got a nice large area to plant something new and exciting in this gap. Now these dahlias have been spectacular for several weeks now, but to keep them going I do need to deadhead them. So there's two types of what look like buds on here. We've got the pointed ones, which are like so, and we've got the tight bun-like ones over here. So the ones you want to cut off to deadhead are the ones that are pointed. So if we just take them right down the stalk, and we leave the ones that are tight, little buns or circles. So we'll go over the plant and take off all the old spent flowers, which will encourage the dahlias to produce more flowers throughout the season. Now in this rather dirty looking jar of water we have some cuttings of Begonia luxurians, and they've been in here too long really, for about a couple of months. But as you can see, they've actually got roots forming around the nodes, which means I've almost got a lot of roots there. So I'll be able to pot these up, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new plants of this wonderful begonia, quite an unusual one. So 3 plants. And this is one of the bigger Begonia luxurians out growing in the garden. Thank you for watching this edition of Yorkshire Kris Weekly Exotic Gardening UK. Got plenty done this week, and in 2 weeks time it'll be the time for my open day in the garden. So I'll be doing the final touches and getting ready for that day. So join me next time with more gardening.